Hi, Zach.
Hi, hello.
Bill.
Welcome to another episode of Momster Movies. I'm Bender.
That's a bubby.
And today we are
Gonna open your birthday present.
going to open a birthday present. My mom insisted on having me open this present on camera.
Because I feel it...
Even though my birthday was like a month ago.
Well, you know how like when you go to the Google.
Yeah.
And you put in like flicka flocka flicka blah.
Right.
And like 10,000 pages come up.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put in there presents for horror movie lover 28 years old.
Okay.
And instead of going to like the first page, I said, I'm going to go to the 59th page.
Uh-huh.
And I did. And this website came up, and it's something I can't remember, like Bloody Brilliant, mate. Something like that, .com.
Bloody Disgusting?
No, because I know that one. It's like Bloody Brilliant, mate.
Okay.
It's British.
It's Australian.
Australian.
Mate. Australian.
So, and I'm, so they just like sell like these little known movie posters.
Okay.
And I feel like in our travels together at the thrift stores
Yeah.
and antique stores and stuff, like we're always coming across these things. And I just thought there is something so oddly familiar about these that I went ahead and got 4. And this is just the envelope that I had left over from Grandma's calendars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, to close your eyes.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
It's upside down.
That's upside down.
Yeah, there they
This
are.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, ancient, your mom's on fire. Some Mofuego.
Mafuego. Isn't that oddly familiar?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Enter Sand Mom. Leave petrified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Bub Walker.
Uh-huh.
You know nothing. Obviously, the Jon Snow.
You know
White
nothing.
Walkers.
Right, about terror.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
hilarious.
Uh-huh.
Hilarious. Bubenfrau. She's alive. Alive. Alive!
I think there probably were really popular films during their time.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Those are great.
Yeah. You like
I'm gonna
this?
have to get frames for all
Are you
of them.
gonna get framed for all of
Probably.
them? I mean, honestly, the resemblance to some of these film stars,
Uncanny.
it truly is uncanny.
Yeah. It's just, that's insane.
Yeah. So, gosh, love, bloody L,
Yeah.
bloody horror. What did I say it was?
I can't even remember now. It's
Bloody L, mate.
Yeah.
.com, because
Right.
they
have some very underground movie selection.
extremely underground.
Yeah, extremely underground.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you might be the only people that own those.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they're worth something. Or they're priceless.
Heck yeah. Yeah, they are.
So speaking of underground movies, though, today we're watching Todd Browning's Freaks, which, I don't know, isn't necessarily an underground movie, but it is an old movie. All the way back from 1932. So...
Before I was born.
Yeah, before
That's
you were
like
born.
your grandparents.
Well, before Grandma was born, too.
Yeah. Ooh.
So, I think this movie's really cool. It's just really interesting to watch, like, the roots of horror. And not the classic monsters. You know, something... I think this movie kind of shows, like, the fringe aspect of horror, even from the very beginning.
With the fringes of society.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the fringes of society.
Uh-huh. And Native American fringe, I think, makes a guest appearance,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think so.
Not Native American fringe?
No, they're not.
Western fringe?
No.
Fringe benefits?
Fringe with benefits?
Fringe with benefits. I think that there is a not.
No, I don't think so.
So if this is old, I'm guessing that the Gauze is not.
Nobody is in. No, I don't know any of the actors in it.
No.
No, I don't recognize any of the names.
You're a freak.
Yep.
Do they come out at night?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Part of the movie happens at night.
Freaks come out at night?
Mm-hmm. So
Is it super?
It's pretty super freaks. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have superpowers though.
Do they super freak you out?
Uh,
What about did they super freak you out? Do they do that?
they don't do that. There is
Do you get?
I think that
Just love busting your chops.
Yeah. I think there's like when you put this movie up against the other classic monsters, Frankenstein and Dracula, and the Wolfman and the Invisible Man and the Creature and everything. Yeah. I think those movies have such an element of fantasy because you're dealing with monsters and all of that. Mm-hmm. And this movie has a more like realistic, like genuine terror to it, I think. Okay. For the time, I think.
Okay.
So.
What is it about people who look different than your average Homo sapien that draws you and then sort of repulses you?
I am not particularly repulsed. It's just I'm intrigued most of the time.
But would you? Is it fair to say that that's why this movie is made, because we are so drawn to?
Well, there's a bit of an explanation at the beginning of the movie, and it's also kind of it's ultimately a movie about acceptance. But we'll talk about that after we watch it.
Well, because I can tell you that, being a survivor of some pretty major burns, that I was repulsed by my own appearance for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you may be able to relate to some of the themes in this movie.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Right. So
how much do I owe you for that therapy session?
Nothing. It's free.
Okay, good.
So we're going to watch Freaks, and we will be back with our review.
Swell.
They're going to make you one of them, my peacock.
Okay, so we just finished Freaks, an old one, real old one from 1932, I think I said in the first part of this video. So what did you think of that one?
Hear the helicopter?
Probably.
Emergency!
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, there were parts that I felt were just obviously from 1932. To borrow again your term, it doesn't really hold well
No.
over the decades.
Right. There's a lot of like, I think even the way Brozo treats Venus, the clown, and then like the pretty girl. I think she's like an animal tamer. Even though they like end up together and kind of have like a romantic love,
Right.
it's still very like,
Listen here, Missy.
Yeah,
I'm the man in this
exactly.
relationship.
And you're gonna do what I say.
And you're gonna do what I say.
You're gonna
No,
like
you're
it.
not gonna cry because I told you we
Right.
can't go out. That's just being a silly
But
woman.
like, it's okay because he follows up by telling her she's pretty.
Yeah.
But by saying you have a
right.
nice figure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Lots of references to appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think-
which obviously would go along with the idea that
Right,
we're
it's
watching a movie about people who don't have normal appearances.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
See how I linked that?
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I see what you did there. As I mentioned while we were watching it, the cool thing about this movie is that all of the circus performers that have a deformity or whatever, they were actual circus performers. They were actual freaks.
Yes.
There's Siamese twins. There's the guy without legs that walks around on his hands. There's the guy that without arms and legs.
Right. There's the people with certain birth defects that cause their heads to look like pinheads.
Yeah. There's the little people. There's the half man, half woman.
Yes. There's the bearded lady.
Bearded lady.
Yes.
It's interesting. I think like, I don't know. It's definitely not like a scary movie at all. I think it's more of it's more drama, and it's very heartbreaking, and it's very much about like accepting everybody,
Right.
because I mean, as you see in the end, Cleopatra, the normal lady, the trapeze artist,
Yes.
marries the midget, the little person.
I think he's like the ringmaster, maybe.
I think he has like a conjoined act with his wife or
Right.
his girlfriend, who's another little person. Right. But they break up so he can be with this normal sized lady. But then she decides that not only is she with the strongman Hercules behind his back, but they're also going to poison him over time because they find out that he has a great fortune.
Right. So it took a little bit of a dark turn there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was uncomfortable to watch because she was definitely taking advantage of him, and just he in effect became her sugar daddy, and she laughed about it behind his back, and he of course takes her advances as pure love and with all the best intentions. That was uncomfortable because you knew.
Right.
But then they were like, "Oh, hey, he's got a fortune. Now we really mean business. Now we really have to hurt him. We have to kill him, not just hurt him." Yeah.
And I think one of the themes of the movies is I think it speaks a lot to, especially when during their wedding, and all of the freaks are around the table, and they're just like, okay, you, a normal sized lady, married this freak, so we accept you. Like, we're gonna accept you into our family because of this this union. And she just immediately rejects it, in front, and kicks them all out of the wedding dinner and everything, and doesn't want to be one of them. And I think that's kind of a theme that even holds up in today's society, where some people, and it's not every single person ever, but I think it's much easier for people who are not necessarily normal to be accepting of just about everybody, and unfortunately there's still a lot of discrimination,
unacceptance, intolerance, and rejection.
And intolerance.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's like I said, it's not every single person who's different is accepting. That's not always the case, but it's still a very prevalent theme in society.
Right. It hasn't really improved.
Yeah, it really hasn't changed. And I think the little message at the beginning of the movie is interesting because it almost doesn't talk about the acceptance of freaks. It more just says the freaks themselves have developed a code of ethics
Yeah.
that they uphold.
Right.
And if you offend one freak, you offend
Offend them
all of them.
all.
So don't offend all of them, which is sort of a roundabout way of saying you should be nice to them, you should accept them.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then I think it's interesting that it even states that science and technology is working to, is every day getting better at eliminating these
Yes.
birth defects.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
goes back on like, one of these days these people won't exist, so we won't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
And what I think that they don't make the assumption is you might be able to find a way to help people who, are born with a smaller head than others. But then, let's not forget about how many children struggle with ADHD now. Mm-hmm. Not that those children are freaks, but I do think that at times children who display different behaviors are ostracized in the same way that other members of society who are different are ostracized.
Right. And
I'm trying to be as kind and correct as possible without offending anyone.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I think it's an interesting movie. I think, like I said, it sort of exists as an example of like an underground horror movie of that time. Everybody knows Dracula and everybody knows Frankenstein, but not everybody knows freaks, you know. And so that's kind of why I like it a lot. And I do think that the very, very end, when all of the freaks are crawling through the mud, is genuinely kind of creepy.
Yes, yes. I mean, they are able to emote a lot with honestly very limited abilities.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate the fact that, there was a sort of honoring of how these people cope. Like the gentleman who does not have any arms or legs can light his own cigarette with his mouth.
Yeah.
And then the woman who was born without arms can, pick up her fork with her toes and drink her water,
Right.
that kind of thing.
And they almost made a point to, I think that they showcased that in the movie, and if I had to guess, in 1932 they were probably showcasing it as look at this freak, look what this freak can do, like check this out.
Right. It doesn't come across as look how normal they are.
Right. They're like
all.
Basically doing their circus act.
Right.
And they're being focused on. In today's society, I think, I can watch that movie and go, oh, that's, look at this person just like living their life, because we have like different mindsets. But I think then it was maybe not the best of intentions to highlight that. But now watching it, it's cool that they do.
Well, now let me ask you this, and again, it's just for the purposes of our own conversation.
Yeah.
But do you feel that TV shows like Little People, Big World, or Little Women, or that kind of thing, do you feel that shows, is that at all exploiting? I've never really watched any of them.
Neither have I. I haven't watched any of those shows, so...
if you talk about RuPaul's Drag Race, it's an obvious, in your face, kahunas to the wall, over the top, vampy show.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I think Drag Race has helped to popularize the drag community and ultimately its acceptance, because now they're selling drag queen t-shirts at Hot Topic.
Yeah.
You've never seen that before.
No.
But they're not selling shirts with little people on them. They're not promoting Little People Big World shirts.
Like,
so
where is the line?
Right. I don't know. I you have to imagine that if you don't view RuPaul's Drag Race as exploitive, then Little People Big World isn't necessarily exploitive either, because it's a show that calls, that brings a little person's life into
Your living room.
into your living room, so it's overall it's about acceptance, or it's you're kind of subconsciously conditioning people to view it as normal.
Right. I mean, I do think that the goal of, I would hope that the goal of those shows is to provide a means of tolerance.
Mm-hmm. But if you're a skeptic, you would just say that all of the big wigs making those shows know that they can exploit this subject matter for more money.
Yes. And yeah, right. And I think that's where your media savviness comes into play.
Yeah. But I would hope that your general viewing community is watching it and learning an acceptance of
right.
people.
I would think you would have to do it on a show by show basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo, that's deep.
I know.
Woo,
So
wait a
deep.
second. Wait a minute. Whoa.
It was a swell conversation.
Whew. Golly.
Yeah.
Swell. Heartbreakingly so.
Mm-hmm. So next week, though, or next episode, we are going to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, I think.
You and I?
Yeah, we're going to watch it together. The original one.
No.
Yeah. A movie renowned for being hyper violent without showing lots of violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I do enjoy a good shoot 'em up, blow 'em up movie.
You do. So this is going to be a
but not a
cut 'em up, eat
creepy,
'em up.
let me go and, do it because I'm a deranged axe-wielding, chainsaw. I was getting there. Chainsaw-wielding, Leatherface slinging.
Well, I think you're gonna
Slinging hasher.
Yeah, I think you'll.
Do you see Do you see Leatherface?
Yeah, you see
Oh,
Leatherface.
my gosh.
We're watching it because it's kind of some consider it the first movie to kind of usher in the modern horror movie. So it's going to be a good one. So tune in 2 weeks to watch our review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Also, make sure to subscribe to, I guess you could call it our mother channel, the Super Divorce. Our channel.
Divorced. We are
Subscribe
not getting divorced.
so you can get
not getting divorced.
all of the Momster movies.
We're not getting divorced.
Updates, as well as you can check out all the other stuff that Super Divorce has to offer. That is my band, if you're curious.
Oh, it's fabulous.
So
You
cool.
I mean, there are many things that I am proud of about Bill Bender here. But the fact that he is pursuing music, which makes this gentleman right here come alive and not in a Frankenstein way.
Yeah.
It's really something to watch, really something to witness, and I am very proud of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So subscribe to Super Divorce. Monster Movies is a part of that channel, so you'll always get updates on new videos. Tune in next time for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and have a spooky day.